Breaking news from the NFL into the Fanfare newsfeed.
We've got some breaking news from CBS Sports. Josina Anderson reports that the Miami Dolphins are exploring, and I quote, all options regarding Tua Tagovailoa, up to and including moving on from him. I know this is going to freak out a lot of the Tua fans, but this is Josina from CBS Sports saying this. It's not my words. I'm just bringing the story to you. This is newsworthy because it's CBS Sports. I'm sure many of you will say she's lying. It's just clickbait. It's nothing. It's made up. She has no sources. This is CBS Sports. At some point, everybody has to understand that not everything is rosy going on with the Miami Dolphins. And this story kind of proves it. So this is pretty interesting. Let's take a look at this.
A team that you did mention there, aside from the Ravens, Josina, the Dolphins and Tua technically entering a contract year, but Miami can exercise that fifth-year option anytime before May 1st. Josina, based on...
So let's stop there. That's the first thing I want to address. They could, the Miami Dolphins, they could, if they chose to, could exercise Tua's option well before May 1st. So there's a lot of people out there talking about Justin Herbert and also Joe Burrow not having their fifth-year option taken yet either. But we're talking about Tua right now.
Your context and what you're hearing, do you think the Dolphins are going to get something done with Tua sooner rather than later?
Well, you're right. I mean, they're going into the fourth year as a former first rounder, so they have to make a decision on exercising that fifth-year option, which would net him about $23.1 million in 2024. Now, even though the reports were coming out at the end of the season that the experts expect Tua to be 100% when the time of football comes, league sources have told me again last night and today that there are members in the organization of the Dolphins who are aware that the team is exploring all of their options at quarterback, including potentially moving in a different direction from Tua. And so, yes, that is happening. That is part of the due diligence that a general manager should do when you are considering the concussion in the head history, the injury history in the head to Tua and what they've experienced, and making sure that you have the insurance to cover the debt. Because
all right, so all options. What are all the options? You take his fifth-year option. You extend his contract. You do nothing. You just let him play it out and see how it goes, or you move him. So you've got four options right now that they're exploring, and her sources, whoever they are, don't know who they are, but her sources are telling CBS Sports, CBS, that they're exploring all four options.
The notion is, and the feeling is that with each successive concussion, that, you know, the risk gets higher and higher.
Okay, so we've heard from a number of people, including the Dolphins, who have said that that's not true, that your propensity and you're having additional concussions isn't relevant to how many you've already had. But that's not a fact. That's a split decision. There are neurologists on this side who say, yes, you are more susceptible to concussions. And there are people on this side who say, no, you're not more susceptible to concussions. So that's not what would they say? That's not proven science. So somewhere along the line, people are still not understanding what goes on in the brain and if you're still susceptible to more concussions. Let's go on.
To impacting a quarterback's football future in this league, and you have to kind of cover for that, for that potential risk. Now, that doesn't mean to say that, Tua doesn't have potential as a quarterback. We know he led the league in passer rating at 105.5, and he had his best touchdown to interception ratio last year, 25-8, had his best career year in passing yards and all those other things, and obviously showed a lot of improvement. I was at that week 2 game when he and Lamar went back and forth, and he had the 5 touchdowns in the second half and all of that other stuff. But the reality is, going from week 3 last year against the Bills, week 4 Thursday night football against the Bengals, and again towards the end of the season against the Packers, there were multiple instances where there was either a concussion or we saw video where his head did hit the field. And remember, even in that last concussion, it took him 38 days to clear the protocol.
Now, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of people on YouTube are saying, no, it didn't take him 38 days. The Dolphins held him out. That's not understanding the rules of concussion protocol by the NFL. You can't decide not to put somebody into the concussion protocol. It doesn't work that way. So if you're thinking, if you heard from people that the Dolphins decided not to put him in a game and not to enter him into the concussion protocol, that's not true. And let me tell you why. At a press conference, I believe it was on the 26th or 27th of December, Mike McDaniel was asked a question at the press conference. Somebody asked him, did Tua suffer a concussion? When he answered that question, he said, yes, Tua did suffer a concussion. When that was confirmed, the Dolphins no longer had control of deciding when or if Tua was going to play. He was going to be put in protocol at that time. Then we heard from his parents. His parents said he's still in protocol. So somewhere along the lines, I don't understand how people think the Dolphins just took control of the concussion protocol and that they decided to hold him out. That's not true. It's not possibly true. You can't declare to the world that somebody has a concussion. You can't tell the NFL and the NFLPA, hey, he's got a concussion, but you know what? We're going to decide whether or not he plays. No, that's not how it works. People are lying to you. They're absolutely lying to you. The coach came out and confirmed that he had the concussion. Once he confirmed that, he's in concussion protocol. Remember that the team still had a playoff game possibility when he had the concussion. Then they ended up going to the playoffs. He was still in the concussion protocol. Whether or not they wanted to move forward, whether or not they wanted to seek medical attention and have him keep rehabilitating, I don't know that. But I do know he was in the concussion protocol.
So we're talking about due diligence that makes sense per the job that the front office has to do in that building.
Yeah, Tua limited to 13 games this season because of concussions.
So there you have it. CBS News is now reporting that all options are on the table with Tua Tagovailoa. There is obviously something going on with Tua and the Miami Dolphins. But as I said in my last video, none of us are going to know until March 13th when free agency opens up. Could the Dolphins be looking to cut Tua? No, I don't think that's on the table whatsoever. They're not just going to cut Tua. There's no need to cut Tua. He's already under contract, very inexpensively, I might add, so there's no reason to just let him go. But they could be looking to bring somebody else in, and that is something I would count on. And please save your comments to me about what Chris Grier and Mike McDaniel said about Tua being their guy. What else are they going to say? This is the NFL. And as I said, we're watching a high-stakes game of poker play out in front of us. So your opinion is your opinion. That's CBS Sports. Wasn't my words. CBS Sports has now reported that everything is in play. The entire Tua Tagovailoa matter is now in play. Where it goes from here, I have no idea. Let me know your comments. I know you're not going to hold back. I know you're going to get pissed off. I know you're going to say it's clickbait, but that's newsworthy. Why would CBS Sports put it on the air that all options are on the table? Talk to you soon. Fins up.
Is anybody catching on to this Barry guy?